Okay.
We
Again,
will be recording this meeting, so yeah, go ahead.
This is for your further references if you need. It will be up on the courses, hence the recording. Good evening again, and welcome to your first webinar for the course. I will just take up for about 5 to 7 minutes, just introducing the login processes and other things. I will just share my screen for your reference. I hope everybody's able to see it. Bindu, if you could give a thumbs up, that would be nice if you're able to see. All right. Okay. So yeah, so the first, sorry. So as soon as you open this X, I hope this is the first page that you all see. And most of you have already done this. For those of you who have not done it or new to this process, I'm just reiterating this whole process. So you will land on this page, and then you must have signed in, or you should be signing in using your registered mail ID and password. And then this is what you will be seeing, a course page. And then once you click on that is what this one will open up. I will show you the live of that as well. This is what you will be seeing as you open your course page, right? So this one is the updates. Any updates that we put up is shown here. And here is a course overview, like the unit 1 and unit 2. As the units releases based on the dates, the rest of the units will also be showing up here. Here, this is the main course page. And if you click on here, it shows the progress that you've made till now in your course. And also, how many assignments have you submitted, what is the marks looking like, and all of those details that you can look at here in this page. And then if you move to discussion, this also moves to the page where all the discussions are listed out. So as you progress through the unit, you must have seen some sections where you might have to put up your thoughts, your suggestions for about a topic. So that shows up here, all those discussion topics and things like that. All the posts that others have also put up will be seen here. Going back to the course page, 2-3 things that I would like to reiterate is your submission of your assignments or your peer grading. How do you do that? For example, the first graded assignment that you would come across would be this. I hope everybody is able to see. Yeah. Okay. So this is where you get to yeah, okay. I'm on the yes. So this is where you get to see the assignment. You will have to upload your assignment here. Just click on upload assignment and then upload your file here. One thing to keep in mind as we are uploading your assignments is to upload the right file. We have got to observe that wrong files have been uploaded, and then resubmitting your assignment might become a hassle. Hence, kindly, while you're uploading, please be careful and upload the right file, and also right kind of file. Kindly restrict it to either a Word file or a PDF, a doc or a PDF, so that it's easier for us to also open up and then look at it. Any other versions will, become difficult for us as well as for us to grade and then take it up further processes. So this is what the first a graded assignment upload would be looking like. Just have to click on this and upload your file, right? And then if we move to next sessions, Okay, this is again a discussion one. We already definitely see quite a lot of discussions that are put up. If you have not already put it up, please do go ahead and then do put up your thoughts and in the discussion forum. This also helps others to understand, and then for you also to understand things better that has been occurring in the unit. One more thing I'd like to quickly also show before is the your graded assignment. Bindu, can you just help me tell which is the peer graded one? Yes.
This one.
This one, yeah. Right. So this is where the peer graded assignment is. Basically, what you'll be doing is you will be submitting your assignment, and also you will review and provide feedback or grade two other assignments of your peers. And then a detailed video is also put up here that how do you upload your assignment and also grade others' assignment as well. The rubric for it, everything is provided, and hence you just have to go through the video once for your reference and then go ahead and do it. So this one's the peer graded assignment. These are the three types. One is a discussion, one is a submission for us where the staff will be grading the assignment. Another one is a peer graded assignments where you will submit an assignment and also review and give feedback to two other assignments of your peers, which is compulsory as well. Any other doubts and questions, you can definitely post it here in this webinar as well at the end, or you can put it up in the chat box and so that we can address it later as well. Any technical difficulties that you've been facing till now. I think I've covered everything. Bindu, then over to you.
The first assignment is the assignments are due. They don't have a specific due date. It's open till the course ends. But I would suggest you work on it in order of Unit 1, Unit 2, Unit 3. It will be more helpful for you. And the first unit is actually, because most of you, I know, are working professionals who are probably engaged in the process of mentoring in some way or the other. And we really like to use this course not to test you on knowledge, but more to test you on, or assess you, I should say, on how you are able to reflect on your experiences and connect it to the content that we are providing you with. So, so it's a little self-paced in that sense, but within these 6 weeks. So that's how I would say the course is organized. Thank you, Arpitha. I think you can always even email Arpitha if you're stuck, especially with the technical aspects. We're always there to help you with the technical aspects. However, I think this first webinar, I wanted to actually talk to all of you about or invite you all to share your experiences. And like I said, I know all of you have come in with mentoring experiences in varied situations and fields. So I am going to start this presentation. I'm just going to go through briefly how this course is organized. So, so it'll help you also participate better in the course. So the first unit largely deals with kind of clarifying what are the concepts we use mentoring, coaching, and being mentors or being mentees quite a lot in our in our lives, whether it's professional or personal. But when we talk about mentoring in the workplace, and especially mentoring for teacher professional development, what do we really mean by mentoring? What do we understand by the process? that's what we're trying to understand in the first unit. And so you have this this chart here, and I invite you to discuss your experiences now. If you've engaged with the course a little bit, uh, what are your thoughts about mentoring, about coaching, about what you do in your workplace, and can you relate it to what we have organized in the course? You can please raise your hands, and I.
Oh, I see Priya Ramakrishna. Please go ahead, unmute yourself and speak.
Yeah, hi, my name is Priya Ramakrishnan. My video is off. Yeah, hi, can you see me?
Yes, hi Priya, yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Hi, my name is Priya Ramakrishnan and I'm a principal of a school in Bangalore. Yeah, when I talk about mentorship, some experience with mentorship that I experienced recently is when we came up with our in-house pre-primary curriculum in the school. So, when we worked out as per the guidelines of the NEP about coming with, strengthening the foundational literacy and numeracy, and we built our theme-based curriculum. So when I say we built our curriculum, I didn't write the entire curriculum, but I got my teachers to sit around and we all discussed and came up with what should come before, what should come later, what will form the guidelines to do literacy, take care of numeracy, take care of the EVS topics. And it was a whole 1 year long process. So in the process, there was a lot of learning, but at the same time, there was a lot of learning for the teachers in terms of what was pedagogically accurate. So what we think and what actually goes pedagogically one behind the other is so important. A simple example I would like to say, when talking about a concept like standing line in standing line in the sleeping line. So what is the accurate activity that you can actually, put up to represent a standing line and a sleeping line in a classroom? So that was something teachers themselves, while assessing, came across and said, no, this cannot be represented. You cannot make students stand and then say, you can't represent a standing in a straight sleeping line in 3 dimensions, because what it talks of is 2 dimensions is something that we all came along, and that I felt was a mentorship from my side. And at the end of the year, everyone complete writing their own monthly curriculum. I mean, a group of teachers, so each one of them wrote only one chunk of the curriculum, which is a monthly thing. So that was my experience with mentorship, I would say.
Excellent, Priya. Yeah. So I think you are talking more like about mentoring with a group of teachers. And so we sometimes call that professional learning communities, where it's not so much a one-on-one mentor-mentee relationship, but more working in a group and reflecting on the
It was
ideas together.
actually because it's not one group, it's every month there is one person writing. So, oh yeah, okay. So I do understand. I do understand.
Okay. All
Sorry.
right. Yeah. Thanks. Yes, Pavani, I think, raised her hand.
Yeah, thank you, Bindu. I am Pavani, and I'm joining you all from Hyderabad. I work for TPS, and I am part of a CSR program, schools program, where we recently conducted something called innovation projects for teachers and students. Wherein what actually happened, I mean, that was my basic mentoring experience, I should say, start of a mentor experience there for me, where we kind of mentored a group of students through a complete process of helping them come up with their projects, design their projects. And what caught me the most is, the kind of support that once we extend to somebody who is looking forward to an expert guidance, the way the entire experience transforms for them and the kind of outcomes that come out through it. So it was a wonderful experience that I had, wherein we guided a group of students from starting from their proposal documents until their budgeting and how can they actually pitch their project. So that was a great experience. I thought I'll just share in this platform to learn and keep my learnings also forward. Thank you.
Yeah, excellent, Pavni. But I just want to point out here that when we focus in this course, we're focusing on mentoring of teachers, right? Adults, and often such mentoring relationships, sometimes you're actually a peer of the teacher. And so when you're mentoring students, you do come in as an expert. And oftentimes, actually, that is like coaching, because you do come in with expertise and you coach the students in a particular skill area or in a particular project, right? It's not like we don't coach adults too, but we also have brought into this course this idea of the difference between coaching and mentoring. And really, that mentoring in the workplace is a combination of coaching and mentoring. And when we say coaching, when we use the word coaching, we talk about it more in the sense of more technical, more expertise kind of coaching in a particular area. Perhaps with teachers, maybe it's with use of technology, or it's with a particular pedagogical approach. That is one thing. And the other thing is when we are mentoring our peers, the relationship is very different from when we are trying to doing a student to teacher mentoring. But thank you for sharing your experiences. Yeah, I think Aparna is next.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Bindu and Arpitha.
Good
So
evening.
I am teaching at a school in Noida, and every year I've incidentally had a new co-teacher. We do co-teaching, and I've incidentally had a new co-teacher every year for the last almost 10 years. So so for me, peer mentoring is that taking the new teacher, my new buddy, through the organizational understanding of what it stands for, what our pedagogy is in terms of how we teach, what we teach. So also taking them through the different forms that we fill and the documents that we fill. So taking them through the entire process of settling into the new system, because some of them are totally new, straight from college, and some of them have come in with a lot of experience, but different experience from the experience that we are having in the present school. So, mentoring them through the entire process for an entire year of how to settle into the system of the school. Through all the processes, not only just the what do you say, lesson planning, everything, just taking them through it. Also, because I am the lead for English, also mentoring the other peers, how the English curriculum should be developed, how it has to be implemented, what are the nuances of the curriculum that we are implementing within the school, the purpose of it. So mentoring my peers in a group as well as individually, that's what I've been doing for the last 10 years, along with teaching in the early years.
Excellent, Aparna. I think you pointed out to some very important aspects in mentoring with the teachers. See, while we are mentoring teachers, they come with a range of experiences, and one thing is with teaching is it's not only about the subject and about the classroom experiences. There's so much outside the classroom and within the school environment that the teacher has to deal with. And I think you brought that out very well. And the other point that you brought out well was the difference between a newly qualified teacher and a more experienced teacher. So definitely the kind of handholding we have to do, or the kind of professional development that a newly qualified teacher who has just come out of a B.Ed program or a teacher education program requires a different kind of mentoring then while you're mentoring a teacher who may not have the experience in your school, but may be very experienced from some other school. And the kinds of difficulties you will encounter when you are mentoring an experienced teacher is far more intricate and complex than you will, because new teachers eager to learn and adopt to new processes. An experienced teacher might resist or question some of these new processes too. And how do you handle it, and how do you kind of work on change is something you brought out nicely. Yeah, thank
I
you.
just want to add here that sometimes it's also the vice versa. Yes. The new teachers have their own ideas and they don't want to adapt because they're brimming with ideas and they want to implement them immediately without understanding the pedagogical influences of the school and how curriculum works, because they're so full of ideas. And an experienced teacher understands that she has to first settle in. So it also vice versa.
Absolutely, you're right, because new teachers come in straight out of college with many ideas infused from the college degree itself. So that is also
a lot of theory also they come up with. So
yes, yes. And in the end, practicing teacher, that's what it is about, to be able to connect theory and practice and be able to reflect on their practice and see how. But that's a struggle, and it takes a while to happen from when you get into. I think Ashu has. Sorry, yeah.
Next would be Ashu.
Yeah, she's not raised her hand again, so I
raised. I thought, hi Bindu, hello, nice to be in touch with you again and learning together.
So you are. You can show me a video, Ashu, and then.
I'm not.
Hello.
I'm really tired. I'm. Okay, I'll just open the video, but not in a situation. So hi. I'll just share briefly. Although I'm into the profession of teacher educator now for last almost 14 years, but recently, as Bindu knows, that I have started my PhD, and as a part of my PhD, initially I started working with pre-service teachers who were not my students. So I was doing my pilot last year from October itself till December. And I was in the interacting with the B.Ed students of the second year from Delhi University and engaged in teaching of maths in the middle grades. And the purpose of the study was how I can mentor them to reflect on the teaching and learning process in a mathematics classroom. So although they were pre-service teachers, and in the initial phases, I just used to observe their classes and have interaction with them. And gradually, I found that there was a need to intervene and talk to them about the aspects which are related with the discipline of maths per se, instead of the factors which they were talking about on with respect to their classroom experiences. So I had one-to-one after every class. There were 5 of the B.Ed teachers with whom I really had an opportunity. I would say it was a co-learning process. That mentoring was also a co-learning process where I used to observe their classes. I observed for each of them, I observed 10 classes. Almost every week, I used to observe 1 to 2 classes of theirs. And after every class observation, we used to have in-depth debriefing session where I used to ask them about their experience with respect to their planning, with respect to their expectations, with respect to their goals. And then and then with this kind of intervention, gradually I would make them think about the aspects of mathematics per se, which really were so interesting that actually by the middle of this, by when the time I reached their 5th or 6th session, they were also coming with the aspects which even I didn't expected. For example, one of the interns started talking about the curriculum issues. That kind of the questions which are coming in the maths book are all procedural based. When we were talking about the use of the things which could make the learners reason, so there were many aspects initially which even I didn't thought that they would come up with. So that was a kind of the mentoring session which I think was as a mean for their professional development, and also to make them reflective about their practices. And in the process, even I was learning about the challenges which a teacher actually faces in the classroom, which maybe I uh, as an educator was not even able to I won't was even have not reflecting as I should be as an educator with my students, although these were not my students at all. So I think I just wanted to share that. Thank you so much. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Ashu. I think you've mentioned some very important aspects. One is, I think we talk about mentoring, whether as a teacher educator or a teacher or anyone in the education space. What we find is if we are able to develop these teachers or give space for reflection, and especially, I think previously we spoke about reflecting in shared spaces, like in a group, it becomes very useful to understand what is happening for the person, the teacher itself in the classroom, and to be able to improve their teaching. And also another thing that Ashu pointed out was as especially the pedagogical aspects, and as we go higher and higher up in the grades for teaching, the content aspect also, which subject are we mentoring for? So in the middle and higher schools, teachers come with a very strong subject identity. So if you ask a high school teacher, where do you teach? She will never just say the school name, or he will never say the school name. They will always say, I teach mathematics, or I teach science, or I teach English, or I teach a language, or I teach social science, right? So as you go higher and higher up the grades, teachers' identity form around the subjects they teach uh, much more. And as mentors, we also have to align with that. So if we are mathematics teacher educators or mathematics mentors, we align more with the subject pedagogy and the mentoring. Thank you, Ashu, for sharing. I think next is Bonnie, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Hi, Bonnie. I think we've met also. Welcome to the course. Yes.
Hi, ma'am. It's nice to see you again. Okay, so I just went through the first part of this thing, and when I was just reading through it, I just had a glimpse of whatever does go on in our school as well. So I belong to Shivnadar School and I teach geography from grade 6 to 10. So here we have a system of layered leadership. Sorry. So what happens is there are many homeroom teachers, or which we call as the class teachers, and above the class teachers there is one teacher who will take care of that particular grade class teachers. So for grade 6 there are grade leads, for 7th, 8th, 9th, and these leads of middle school, they will be leaded by one more teacher who will be the deputy head. So similarly, it goes on for senior school as well. So being in this middle leadership, a sandwich leadership, it is very much problematic as well as too much to learn at the same time, I feel. So when you have to, give instructions to the class teachers about many things, and at the same time you're mentoring them, and many of them are actually very experienced teachers. So some of them are freshers, some of them are very experienced, and the way you deal with them has to be totally different. So that is an experience as well as we can say learning that happens with trial and error. So sometimes they take the instructions in a very positive manner. And as you said, many of the experienced teachers, they are very resistant to any type of instruction that will be taken by someone who is like very younger to them. So that happens. And some of them take it like naturally because they don't want that extra job to be taken up. So that happens. At the same time, whom I report, my reporting manager, again, she is a mentor to me. And that I take in very positively. And I hope that everyone who has such mentors, they also take in very, very positively. So I learn a lot from her. And this relationship is so beautiful in a way that she scolds me when I do something wrong. At the same time, she teaches me, and I have to understand that and implement that at the same time.
Yeah,
So,
that's,
yes.
so please go ahead, complete, sorry.
So, if there is a situation, because in a school, it's so dynamic, and it's very easy for emotional outburst or sometimes to just go haywire. So if there is such a situation and nothing goes unnoticed in a school, so you cannot just hide your feelings or be someone else. You have to be yourself because you're with the children always. So you have to be yourself. And sometimes, yes, we are not in the best of our mental capacity or mood. So there are some days which are just not fine. So how to cope with those days, and how to just not outburst at the students because they don't know what's going on in your head. So this type of mentoring is done by my mentor, and at that point of time, I am a mentee and I learn from her. At the same time, what goes on is I have to teach the same to the other set of teachers
Right.
and be an example to them. So if a work needs to be done, so I have to do it first to be an example that this work has been done by me already. So you need to do it as well before
Right.
the
So,
deadline.
yeah,
So
so yeah,
this
thank
is
you,
what
Bonnie, for
I got.
sharing. Yeah, I
Yes.
think you brought out a very important thing is really this whole mentor-mentee relationship is, whether it's with a peer or with somebody younger, is really about building trust. And when you call this relationship with your mentor beautiful, obviously you've built that trust with the mentor. So it doesn't matter if there are days when things don't go, perfectly, but because you trust, um, and there is that trust formed. So it's so important in this mentoring relationship to build that trust. And because, like I said, we are, in the end, we are peers trying to mentor each other. We're in the same profession and we're peers trying to mentor each other. So the importance of building this relationship, and it doesn't get built overnight. Um, Especially with new teachers or with teachers who may not align with your ways of thinking. How do you build those relationships is something we do cover in Unit 2 also, where you can use certain tools and ideas. So you can go through that as well in Unit 2 to help you build that. And most of all, I think in any relationship, empathy is required. And like you said, none of us are machines and we all have good days and bad days.
Yes.
So that's a good thing you brought up. Thank you, Bonnie. Yeah. I
Just
think,
to add, Bindu, and
yeah,
what another
sure, go ahead.
interesting thing that Bonnie also mentioned is modeling and how that is also impacted. Her mentor is sort of modeling the kind of work for her, and then she's then modeling the work for her mentees. I think that's also an interesting thing to look at.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you, Arpitha, for bringing that up. Yeah. Jayashree is next. Yeah.
Jayashree, are you here? I don't see her responding. I think Ram Kumar had also raised the hand. Ram Kumar, if you'd want to respond, share your thoughts.
Yes, just a moment.
Yeah.
So actually, I didn't have anything very serious to share in that sense, but I did want to share that my idea of a coach and a mentor was quite different. Or actually, what I thought was a mentor is what you would call a coach, and what I thought was a coach was what you would call a mentor, except in the sense of the duration. Yes, I understand a mentor is a long-term thing. That was so. I just wanted to share that. In my view, a mentor raised many questions, may not, give specific answers, may actually help to bring out the mentees' individuality and their own, help them to figure out things rather than, direct. So that idea has undergone a change after reading the materials. So I just wanted to acknowledge that. Yes, thanks.
Yeah, so thanks for bringing that up, Ram Kumar. So I think more than labeling these as mentor or coach, I mean, typically what we see in a coach is something more short term and a little bit more skill based and technical. And when you talk about a mentor, we mostly say it's more long term and but the processes are the same. You're really mentoring another individual, right? And what you say about allowing the mentee to kind of build their identity is true for both the mentor and the coach, and it's a very situational thing, and we learn with experience, right? When we are new mentors, we tend to solve the mentee's problems because we feel that if the mentee has some issues and we solve it, we're being good mentors. But as we gain more experience in the mentoring process, what we do is we facilitate the mentee to solve their own problems. So a really good mentor is actually someone who's able to listen and facilitate the whole process, right? And the only distinction we have is that a coach has a little bit more restricted or a smaller kind of role with a specific skill or a specific approach that they're coaching their mentee with, and or the coachee as we call them. And the mentor is someone we think of in a more long-term relationship. But what you brought up is important about the learning the ability to listen to your mentee and allowing the mentee actually to solve their own problems. I think that's an important point that you brought up in the mentoring process. And these two are just processes, and two slightly different types of processes, both important.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Hello.
Yes.
I'm so sorry I'm back here. I could not, Jayashree, this side.
Yes, Jayashree.
Yeah, I'm so sorry.
No
but there was
problem.
some issue with the device. So I've been listening to everyone. I am a school leader since last 15 years and have moved from different places. So till what I have done through the course now, it has been very reflective. Till the level which I have reached, it's been very reflective because I am now able to very sharply demarcate what and understand what mentoring and coaching is and how I have been doing it, but subconsciously and not putting a name to it. And being a school leader has, subconsciously everyone is looking up to you and you are coaching or mentoring all the time, even if you're not, specifically doing it. But going through the material and the readings and the whatever has been shared, I think a focused approach when you have an intention of doing certain things, which is like coaching, has to be set. Mentoring is being a school leader, you are mentoring everyone all the time, but I think as leaders, you also tend to become directive. You are mentoring, but you are being directive. It is taken as a direction, whereas you are actually telling them to do a certain thing in a certain way. So that the language, the nomenclature has to change, that it should not sound as directive. But when you're a school head, you end up, it becomes a part of your DNA, that you want them to, you tell them to do a certain thing, certain way. And it is not, maybe I have had an experience, people have shared with me after many years that no, you made us do things in a certain way and we have learned and we have grown, we have become leaders. So the lines between mentoring, coaching, leading are very blurred, in a dynamic environment called school, which is again an organism, a school. It's always, we're always evolving, and we are always firefighting, or we are always trying to, do things. And maybe you don't sit down to actually have those conversations which you want to, but somehow you're not able to. But this process goes on, and till now the whole thing has been, I'm very frank, this whole course which I've done till now has been a very reflective journey for me. So I don't have any anecdotes to share at this time, maybe later stage, but this is what my understanding has been, and I'm constantly reflecting all the time. Thank you so much.
I'm so glad, because that is our intention, is really not to, because like I said in the beginning, we all of you come with, in our past course runs also, most of the participants have great many years of experience in schools, perhaps more than what I do. So I like to actually make this a more a platform where you share experiences and really connect these ideas into your experiences like you do, and reflect on it. That's all the course is intended to do, and I'm glad you caught that spirit of the course.
Definitely, I'd like to intentionally coach someone this year.
Good.
When I
Good.
get the tools to do, so maybe I'll intentionally do that now. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. And I think one thing Jayashree brought up, which was important, is leading, right? In many of our schools, most of the leaders are also mentors, right? So leaders in a school teaching situation are also mentors, and it really is a growing experience for the mentor itself to know when to when to lead, when to mentor. These, and like you said, the lines are really blurred. And one thing I would encourage is that we're always talking about teacher groups, right? But we rarely talk about groups of mentors meeting and talking about their mentoring. And that also gives you a space. I think Bonnie also spoke about how some days are just good or bad, right? So if you have opportunities as mentors to meet as a group and reflect, like we are doing today, actually, it really helps sometimes to sort out these things where, when the lines are blurred, what do? If you talk to another head teacher or another mentor who's a leader, it sometimes helps you sort things out. And I rarely see mentors getting together to discuss mentoring. And I think it should be something that schools think about as a platform for mentors to share their mentoring practices. Thank you, Jayashree.
We have Sapna raised hand.
Devyani also I saw for a long time. Okay, whatever you say, Arpitha.
Sapna and then Devyani, maybe.
Okay.
Because I'd seen her raise her hand.
Good evening, Bindu ma'am, Arpitha ma'am, and good evening all. I would just like to say a few things. I've been a teacher from last 18 years. I've been teaching in ICSE, CBSE, SSC, IB and IGCSE, that means Cambridge. So coming from all these backgrounds, and I'm a coordinator in a CBSE school from a few years, 3 years, ma'am. So I've been coaching and mentoring few teachers because we are a very small school. I'm basically from Pune, and I've had an experience of 18 years. So some few examples I would like to quote. For me, in school, our pre-primary teachers very skilled, but not willing to teach a lot to our students. As well as in secondary, primary and secondary, amazing teachers, but not willing to help in all other skills. Like secondly, ma'am, this course is a very excellent course. It helped me reflect on what am I doing. And one thing you mentioned, ma'am, is when two mentors meet. I have a friend who works as a mentor in another school. We keep on mentoring each other. We share ideas. We coach each other, and we tell each other what to tell our principals. And I help my teachers regarding, ma'am, the pedagogy, the different types of teaching, how what challenges they face, and how to face them bravely and come out of it as a winner. And I also help them to create engaging lesson plans and effective assessments, ma'am. I also handhold them and help in the scaffolding process. So, example, for
Excellent.
my students and teachers, SST was getting very boring. So I gave them a Padlet, and everybody started contributing to the Padlet in just few days. So, ma'am,
Excellent.
this is the experience.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am, for this opportunity.
Yeah. Sure.
Excellent course, ma'am. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you, Swapna. So I would say, Swapna, that when you feel that your teachers are not cooperating, or you feel that they are very skilled but they're not helping in certain ways, maybe you need to think of how to approach them differently, right? And perhaps your approach is not something that and is enabling them to open up or talk about their issues. So think about that. uh, it's just a
Yes, ma'am.
suggestion. Yeah.
No,
Yeah, I
ma'am.
think,
I had come across this very recently, and then, ma'am, I talked to them
Swapna,
multiple
I'm
times.
sorry, but we
Yeah.
won't have this conversation, otherwise
No, ma'am. Thank you
others
for your
won't get a
suggestions,
chance.
ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. There's
Yeah.
not much for me to share today now. Thank you.
Okay. Divyani?
Hello, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yeah. Go ahead, Divyani.
Yes. Hello, ma'am. I'm from Jalgaon, and I had been working for 15 years near about. I was running my own classes, and afterwards I decided to close that. And after Corona, and then we have started our teacher education program. We are working in the education in a different way. We are working with the schools, different schools, and working for their development. So we have got lots of opportunities to work with the teachers and mentor them. And we find a few things like when we work in government schools. So in that schools, the teachers are permanent. They are very much rigid. They are not easily ready to change or upgrade. And we have to work more and more in a peer form with them. A one-to-one conversation, we have to give more time to them to convince them. But in private schools, we get some kind of different experience that those teachers are most of the time ready to change themselves because they know they can be terminated if they can't. So
So I'll ask you to stop there because we're running out of time also, Devyani. You bring up an important aspect of the government school versus the private school. That's a very large and complex area to discuss in 2 minutes here. But what I will tell you is that the unit 2 has a lot of understanding on why it's difficult to change. It's not particularly about a government school teacher or a private school teacher. I mean, perhaps your experience, but it's just human nature is we don't want to change. Change is just very difficult to do. We're used to something. We've been doing it for a long time. And also, like I said before, change requires you to also trust your mentor. Have you built that relationship with your mentee that they trust you enough to say, okay, what this person is saying is something change worthy, right? So there are many things that come with changing, and there are many other things around the system that enable or enable change. So I would urge you not to make these comparisons so early in your these broad comparisons, because they're very intricate. the settings of government school teachers versus what private school teachers do, is there are a lot more things happening in a government school space for a teacher. So that's where I'll stop at now. I have 3 hands which have been raised. We won't take any more after that. There's Jhansi, Sukanya, and is it Sabyasachi? Yeah. And I think we'll pause after that, and after these 3 people have spoken.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead, Jhansi.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, everybody. I work with an engineering college, and I am the mentor coordinator for my department, ma'am. So
excellent. Okay.
We have to. My role is to collect all the information from the other faculty, consolidate it, put it into a format, and submit it to my overall mentor coordinator.
Okay.
So the problem that I face is all of them who are there along with me in my department are older to me. So they actually are okay when I am talking to them about other things. But when it comes to getting them done with my mentor reports and all, they become different. They're indifferent in certain times, especially when it has to be done through, the format. They have to follow a format. And my overall mentor coordinator is very, very strict. He checks with all the ATRs. We have to give an action taken report as well. So I find it very difficult to coordinate with these faculty of mine. I mean, the colleagues of mine, and I have to really coax them. I have to, see when they are in good mood, and
So again, Jhansi, I would say this again boils down to building a relationship.
Yeah.
And these templates can sometimes help, and this can sometimes hinder also. Perhaps you should approach them without the template first, and just have a casual conversation, and bring up the template a little later. I don't think senior teachers, and especially if they're older than you and perhaps more senior, like to be approached with a template. Is based on my experience. So try that. Keep the template at the back of your mind. Don't make that the most important thing, and perhaps you'll break the tension and build more relationships. Yeah.
We'll try that.
Try it. Yeah. Yes, Sukanya.
Hi, good evening. I have been teaching for the last 17 years, and I am a school head for the last 5 years. So along the line that I have understood about mentoring is like enabling the peer members, peer teaching team, or even the peers as a teacher, is that one is like, identifying their potential and enabling them to see what they are good at. Sometimes, they are not able to see what their strengths are. But when we are able to identify, and tell them, like, why don't you give this direction? In fact, I would like to resonate, with the thoughts of what Ms. Jayashree had said, saying sometimes we become so directive along the process. But initially, to do the hand holding for a fresher, that direction is important. But along the line, I tell them, that now this is how it is directed. But you have your own way to explore and do better. So that is given in the second or third chances where, they will develop a lot of confidence when they are able to accomplish the given task. So this is something that I have experienced. And, in the process, like when we tell them that you're capable of doing, and they have this sense of actualization by doing it on their own, and in the process they learn. So what happens is like, there is so much of trust that is built. Like there is someone who's really thinking, what I am capable of, and this person really has concern in developing me. So that is something that I have seen that happens. And often, there are times like, it is difficult to exactly translate the idea of what you want from them, or to get out of them. So this method is something that has always helped me, by that putting them along with me, taking them along with me. So what happens is, like, when they walk along with me, they are able to see what I am able to see and what I want them to do. And it becomes really like I have been able to foster different kinds of leaders in the process. So that is an amazing experience that I would like to really share. So these are things, and in the process, I have also been able to learn mutually from them, the perspectives. And especially when you are mentoring young minds and young team members, the learning is even more faster, because the thought process and the way they try to execute is amazingly great. Maybe my dimension would, my dimension would be only to certain extent with my years of experience. But when I allow them to actually explore and come back and reflect on it, it's like I tend to learn a lot from them. I see that the boundary is very widened after that. So this is my experience.
Thank you, Sukanya. I think you bring up an important point, especially when we are mentoring groups of teachers or young teachers. Really, if teachers have a safe space to try to sometimes fail and to get back, I think that's when they open up more and are able to innovate also. So perhaps your leadership or your mentorship has enabled this to happen, that you've created the safe space. And that's why they are also developing their confidence. Great work. Yeah.
Thank you.
Sabyasachi, I think that's the last. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Good evening. Thank you so much. It's been wonderful to be here and hearing all of you talking about mentorship. So I'll just try to keep it short. So back in my last school, we have a system of buddy system.
Right.
So through that buddy system, I got an opportunity to mentor one of my fellow maths teacher. So initially, I recognized the importance of the empathy, as we are talking about in our interactions. So even though they were like he was very proficient in his mathematics knowledge, I understood that he had a difficulty with his language barriers. So I understood that teaching is not just about imparting the knowledge, but it's also about instilling the confidence and fostering a supportive environment. So I did work alongside him, and I was patiently waiting, and I had been patiently encouraging him that he can do a lot better when it comes to the language. And slowly, over a period of 2 to 3 years, he really came up with a much more polished, better individual. And
excellent.
When we talk about the relationship, right? So what we grew, teacher, I mentored him not just as a colleague, but as a friend. And then, like, our relationship is still there. Even recently, I have moved out of India, but still we are in touch. And he always used to praise me. So yeah, that was one of my experience from my side. And I really appreciate each one of us that to be into that noble profession. I mean, something that we can bring changes in our life is us. That's very important, because we are dealing with lives at the end of the day, not the machine. So we have to be very patient. We have to be very empathetic at the end of the day. So yeah, that's what from my side.
Absolutely. You're so right. And what I want to point out to one thing which we will cover a little bit in Unit 3 also, that it's not enough to just be a subject expert. Right? We need to be able to teach the subject, be able to represent, be able to communicate ideas, get examples, and be able to teach the subject really and make it understandable to students. That becomes a very important thing. And it's just not enough to just have subject expertise. And we will talk about it in Unit 3. You will see that there is a term, many of you could have heard about it, but it's a term we now call as the teacher's professional knowledge, which we call pedagogical content knowledge, or PCK, which is really a combination of the subject content knowledge and the pedagogical knowledge on how to make that content teachable. And that is really at the core of any teacher's work. And I think it looks like you mentored your buddy to gain more understanding of this PCK, which is really good. Thank you for sharing. Yeah. So I think today we're at an hour. I usually like to listen to all of you because I know you have so much experience, but I just want to share one last thing before we close for today. Like I said, whether you're coaching, which is more short term and opportunities for problem solving, or it's more long term and more towards career development goals, mutual trust and clear goals. We did not mention this before, but it's very important for between the mentor and mentee to have clear goals. When these goals are clear, usually the relationship and the mentoring process also becomes more smooth. I want to just introduce you to Unit 2, which I hope you will read in more depth if you already haven't. We talk about goals for teacher professionals. So now we move very much into teacher professional development and not mentoring and coaching in general. We talk about the goals of participatory and student-centered pedagogy and developing teachers into reflective practitioners. So what are our goals when we're talking about mentoring teachers? Over and above everything, this is what we need to keep in mind. And the next thing we talk about is change. I think a few of you have brought up this idea of changing, right? It is difficult for all of us to change. Now, how do we understand change initiated in school? Is it a top-down process? Is it a bottom-up process? And how do you work through change? And what are factors that sometimes impede and enable change in schools, right? Especially when we talk about the different types, the situations of teachers in different schools or in different geographies, there are different factors that enable or actually obstruct change. And it would be a good idea to understand these and understand it in your situation as well, that it's not just the relationship, it's also other external factors that and that the whole schooling process is a complex process, teaching, the schooling, and you're dealing with young minds, so it's not easy either. And in the last session, we talk about some skills that you can develop as a mentor to keep your, to kind of evolve your mentoring process and make it more robust. And these are perhaps things that you've already been doing, many of you, but it just gives you, it helps you reflect on what you're already doing and just do it better. So I'll end today's webinar with this. Thank you all for joining.
Yeah, thank you all for joining. Just a note, Bindu, I would like to leave with.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much, Bindu ma'am and Arpitha ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Just a last note that I would like you all to leave with. If any one of you, if you've filled, great. If you have not filled or missed out, please fill out your pre-course survey, which is really important for us to, understand and then keep track of a lot of things. Also, the discussions that are happening in the discussion forum are great. Please keep them coming and more. Please add. All of these thoughts are so valuable that you've all shared today. Please continue putting them up. We are already going through it, and then we'll definitely be able to go through it as well, and then respond to it if wherever necessary. Any questions or queries also can be posted in the queries sections of the discussion, so that we could address any of those queries as well as you go through the course. And also you can always write to me whenever you have a question or a query as well. Yep. Yes, we will have one more webinar. Maybe that is little towards the end, Bindu, maybe?
Yeah. So we
Yeah.
will maybe have it after 2 or 2.5 weeks, so that you've gone through more of the course. And if you have any questions or again discussions related to that, we'll take it up.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone, and I hope you enjoy doing the course.
Ma'am, thank you so much. I have a quick question to both
Sure,
of you.
go ahead.
Will it be possible for you to share the recording of these webinars? Because I would like to go back again and again and again. It's really
Definitely.
good for us and reflective to go back and listen what
It
people.
will be uploaded on
It will
the
be
course
uploaded
page.
maybe in a day or two in the course
Sure.
itself. Yeah.
Sure, sure.
So
Thank you.
that everyone can go through it. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
All
Thank
right.
you. Thank you. Bye bye. Good night now.
Bye bye.
Bindu, you want me to stay or I'll end the meeting?
No, I think we can. I'm just closing the